Hey guys, Jay here, Locomotion Fitness in Charleston, South Carolina. We are on the Two Brain Business channel where we talk to you about how to live your best life while you're running a gym. If you love this video, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss anything else we put out. I have been talking a ton lately about how it's your job as the owner to set the mission and vision and how to talk about that with your staff so that they buy in to that mission and vision. Then I talked a lot about being vulnerable and being open with your staff and being okay with sharing some numbers and sharing how you're feeling about how you're progressing towards the mission and vision that you set. All of that can seem sort of ethereal, right? It can seem sort of like it's in Never Never Land, sort of crunchy, but you need all of that so that you can do this. This is how you use that mission and vision and translate it to where the rubber meets the road, to where we have numbers, we're driving targets. And that all starts with what's important to us. And at our gym, I know that I want to turn people into kick-ass 90-year-olds. And I know that the best way to do that is through one-on-one coaching. So we're prioritizing personal training. Group memberships are great, and we have 4 group programs, and they drive a lot of revenue for us, but they're not our primary focus. On top of that, I know that I want everyone, my staff, my members, myself, to be happy and healthy before I care about competition or numbers. And so I organize all of our targets, all of our quarterly and monthly goals around those ideas. Now, I first have to be comfortable being vulnerable and telling the staff what those numbers are and trusting that they're not going to think I'm the monopoly man with my monocle in, taking all of this money for myself while they're getting nothing. So it's important that you set yourself up for success and you have conversations with your staff to loop them in on why you're making these decisions and why we're seeing $53,000 in gross revenue and they're not getting paid $100,000 a year, right? So let's first look at our quarterlies. So down at the bottom, this is what I call our target and goals board. And what I do with this is every month at the beginning of the month, I film a 5 to 8 minute video that goes out to all of our staff. And in that video, I talk about all of these things. I walk through the numbers that we hit from the previous month, what we missed, why I feel like we missed them. Most importantly, where they can help me, right? What are the things they need to be doing to make sure that we hit these targets? And I post that video in Slack. They all watch it. They know what their goals are. They know what their pieces are. And it makes sure that we're not just marching towards something that we don't know, right? I'm reverse engineering. These are our yearly targets. Based on those things, these are the things that we have to do each quarter. Based on that, these are the things that we have to do each month. One thing I think that's important to talk about is the difference between a target and a goal. Because you'll see here I have both on these boards. The way that I think about this, our goals are things that I'm in direct control over. There are things that I can do actively. Targets are outcomes, right? These are hopeful things that I hope can happen, but ultimately I'm not going to be able to decide or make $23,500 show up in personal training revenue, right? I'm hopeful that the actions that I'm taking through my goals will lead to those targets, but ultimately those things are out of my control. So I split it up into 2 things. If we come down to our quarterly rocks here, let's take a look at quarter 2. I wanted to drive gross revenue to $50,000, get our ARM, which is average revenue per member, over 190. So total revenue divided by total members. I wanted to get a staff development plan in place. So I knew we were hiring like crazy, and I knew that our system for getting staff onboarded and getting them consistently delivering service like we wanted to was not great. And then finally, I have a room called the recovery room where we had ice and sauna and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't producing the revenue that I anticipated, largely due to COVID. I wanted to figure out what to do. We see green checks near all of these things. So at the start of Q3, just this month, I went over and I told them how we hit these things, where we wound up, gave them all a great job for getting that done. And it was a huge celebration, a big win for everybody. And remember, progress leads to more progress. You need motivation to be successful. So highlighting those wins is super important. Don't just set these targets or goals and walk away. Next up, Q3 rocks. So 100-day journey revamped. This goes back to a target that we have to make sure that our length of engagement, or on average how long somebody stays at our gym, is over 16 months. That's our target. And right now we are right around there. But ultimately I'd love to get this eventually to 20 or 24 months. So we're gonna revamp that 100-day journey, that first 100 days with people at our gym, so that we increase our retention. Next up, we're redesigning our website workflows and campaigns. Our automated marketing campaigns are all getting redone for the same reason, right? I want to increase client retention is my big focus right now. So we're going to redesign all of those things, which is going to get us more leads and hopefully convert more people into members. And then once they're members, those campaigns, those new member campaigns help to keep them here and keep them engaged. We're going to restructure our roles and tasks. As my gym gets bigger and bigger, I'm realizing that maybe I don't have the best organizational structure in place, and we need to adjust a few things. So we're going to look at that, and then we're going to set up a personal training department. Again, this goes back to I'm pushing the growth of personal training right now. Really important that I have the bones and the structure in place, that as that program grows, we don't end up in trouble because we're not able to deliver a good service. Next up, so those are our rocks for the quarters, and I really speak to how this month now with our goals, how do our rocks, or how does that tie into our rocks? So July goals, we're going to eval with every single coach. This went down to our staff development and schedule from the previous quarter. So we put in place this staff development schedule. Now I have to execute on it. So I'm going to evaluate with every single coach. And when I message to them, I tell them in their video, hey guys, you're gonna see us in your classes. We're taking a look at how you're doing so we can give you feedback so that we can give that service that's in line with turning people into kick-ass 90-year-olds. Always tying it back into your vision. We're gonna redesign the website. So this is the first piece of our redesigning website flows and campaigns. So that's a quarterly goal, but I got to get started on it this month, and you'll see a different goal for August and September to help get us there. We're going to rough map that 100-day journey this month. The whiteboard behind you that you can't see, we just brainstormed. What do we want when somebody comes in for an intro? What do we want when somebody signs up? What's their first touch point from a coach? What does all that look like? And it was just a whiteboard mastermind. Let's get it on paper, and that's all we're doing this month. We're not doing anything else with it. Remember, we got a full quarter. Next up, we're going to audit staff roles and tasks. So that comes down to restructuring roles and tasks. First step there, I have to figure out what are we doing now so that I can see where those inefficiencies are so that we can make some adjustments. So those are our goals for July. And in my video, when I talk to the staff, I tell them who I think is going to be doing what in these moving pieces and where I need their help. And again, I tie it back into the quarterly and then back into our annual goals. Always, this is why we're doing this. It's not enough to tell them that they have to do it. They have to understand why and help them to buy in. And honestly, I don't tell them how either. Unless they come to me for help, I want to give them the autonomy to figure this out. And then I am a resource for them. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our targets for July. So now these are the numbers, right? These are the things the metrics that we're trying to hit. PT revenue is our big focus right now. We're trying to get that to $23,500. That is a 5% increase from our previous month, which I think is totally realistic. In the video that I'm talking to our staff, I'm telling them how they can sell skill sessions, how they can land personal training clients, what they can do on their social media to recruit people. So it's really important that we get the staff to buy in and figure out what they need to do. Then we've got nutrition revenue at $5,300, which you'll see our gross revenue is $53,000. My goal for nutrition is to be 10% of our gym. So that's an easy metric to hit based on that $53,000 gross, which is a percentage increase, right? Just over a 5% increase from the month previous. On the nutrition piece, I tell all of our coaches, how can they set themselves up to get free intros scheduled with our registered dietitian, Kayla, so that we can help our members even more. Ways that they can have these conversations at the end of classes or at the end of their sessions. Lastly, we're trying to get 10 net members, meaning maybe I can get 20 new members in and lose 10. Getting our membership number up to hopefully 275 by the end of this year is our target. And a net 10 is what is going to get us there every month. So this goes back to dialing in retention, right? Making sure that we don't have 20 people in, 20 people out, because that's not helping anyone. So if you do not have something like this, where you have your results, right? These are the June targets. This was the goal. This was the actual. Did we make it? Did we not? And we talk about maybe why we didn't hit that goal. It's really important for your staff to be able to see this stuff, and that not only you have the video at the beginning of the month telling them why and how you got here and how it ties into your vision, but on top of that, checking in throughout the month. So we have a staff website that has these listed that we update throughout the month so that everybody is on the same page. If you expect your gym to grow, everyone has to work together and everyone has to know what you're working towards. And this is the best way I've been able to figure that out.